Judge not, lest ye be judged. Today, it's all about judgment. He's judging her. She's judging her. He's judging him. They're judging it. I don't know. I'm Robert Sawyer.
And I'm Mrs. Sawyer.
And we are the only black kids in the class. Mrs. Sawyer.
Yes.
Go.
Go with what?
Kick it off.
No.
Every episode.
No.
Email upon email upon email.
I haven't seen such emails here. So
I can show them to you right now.
No. That's okay.
I can show them to you right now.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You really wanted that, you would have told me the email before.
I've shown you the emails.
No.
The people want you.
No.
They said we should rename the podcast.
They did not.
Mrs. Sawyer presents.
Yeah. That's not happening.
No, it's Alvin and the Chipmunks. It's Mrs. Sawyer and...
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's Mrs. Sawyer and Mr. Mrs. Sawyer.
No.
That's how the people see it.
No.
You are the star, baby. You're the star in my life.
Oh. That I can believe.
So, what you been judgy about lately?
Judgy? I don't know.
Oh, the cat.
I tell you, there's a difference between judgment and opinion. I tell you that. I have an opinion about things. I'm not judging things.
Yeah. What are your latest opinions?
I don't know. What were we? Well, it depends on what we were doing. I always have an opinion about everything, but it's normally food related.
You don't have opinions outside of food?
Yeah, but I don't know what. That's the only thing that comes to my mind. There's nothing else that I can think about an opinion on. No. What about you?
You are the focus of my life.
Yeah. You didn't answer the question.
I live in your judgments, so it's weird that you don't have any judgments. It's just opinions. I guess we'll go to some Ask the Black Kids. So we've got two Ask the Black Kids today.
Okay.
Friend. They put a question mark.
Okay.
Hello, Black Kids. Love the podcast. You two honestly remind me of my wife and I. But the topic of this email is about a questionable friend of mine. I honestly know the answer, but want to know if I'm tripping. This friend has been around for more than 15 years and has been semi-solid, but is very passive-aggressive, and especially in the past few years that have been a struggle for me. Has shown their colors in trying to diagnose me as autistic or ADHD.
Oh.
Honestly, don't know what at this point. His girlfriend at the time did have a doctorate in OT. You know what that's occupational
therapy.
Which made me start to question myself when they started to play those games. I've let the hints slide over the years as no one in our friend group was really buying into it. But in the past couple of years, I saw the games being played by more of my friends. Admittedly, I was a weaker version of myself as I was preparing for a wedding and was faced with a shit ton of unforeseen things happening leading up to the wedding. But nonetheless, saw what was going on. Now that I am feeling right again mentally, I am back on the fuck them mindset, but only holding on to the thought maybe I'm being too hasty or too quick to throw away 15 years. Though I have wanted to cut this friend off for a while, but not sure how to do it. So thought I'd ask if you two have had something similar happen in your life and how you've dealt with it. Thank you.
Oh, wow. That doesn't sound too friendly there.
It sounds terrible.
That sounds like a terrible person in your circle. I have not dealt with that because...
Well, I'm not sure what they mean by dealt with.
Like dealt with somebody that like is under the pretense that that's your friend, but really they don't have like a positive thing for you. Like they want to basically cut them out, but they don't know how.
I'm going to focus on two parts. You said you already know the answer, but you just want to know if you're tripping. And you said you've wanted to cut this friend off for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't live like that. I don't want to talk to him. I'm not talking to him.
So as far as are you ADHD or autistic, definitely none of my friends have ever suggested that to me, being that I am a mental health counselor. If one of my friends was concerned, though, they wouldn't drop hints, and my friends would talk to me and say, "Hey, I've noticed some of these things in the time that we've known each other.
Right.
I just want you to, have you noticed anything? Do you want to get something checked out?" It wouldn't be some kind of slick, sly, passive aggressive comments about me.
I don't even like the way that's being used. So even if you were, or even if you're hinting at what does that mean? Like, how does that change the dynamic of your position in my life? Like, what if I am ADHD and what if I am like, what does that mean? Like, so why talk? Like, what are we talking about here? Are we just diagnosing? Like, you're short. Like, what is that? Like, why would we have that conversation?
The girlfriend being an occupational therapist. I've never met an occupational therapist that diagnoses ADHD.
Me neither.
So
Me neither. But
I've only done this for 16 years, though. Never met an occupational therapist that wouldn't say, hey, I'm concerned. Would you like to seek a diagnosis instead of talking shit with her boyfriend? All of that's sus. So are you tripping? It sounds like you don't feel like you're tripping.
right.
I wonder, what's the hesitation? If they sound like they're kind of on the fringes of friendship at this point. So how do you go about cutting them off? You can be direct and be like,
Yeah, have you brought it up? Like, I would say, if this is in your friend zone like area, there's nothing I can't talk to my friend about. So if they're doing something that I don't like or makes me feel uncomfortable or I don't like what they're talking about, I'm gonna say, hey, yo, what do you? I don't like this.
it doesn't sound like you're friends.
Right. It sounds like you guys are acquaintance and you guys may be in the same social circles. But
I've
doesn't sound
known
like
you
a
for the
friend.
past 15 years.
Doesn't mean that you're my friend.
Doesn't mean you're my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. I mean, I would talk.
I wouldn't talk to the person.
But you and I are different.
Because to me, if this person was your friend, they would feel some kind of way about certain things
Yeah.
too. And if you were friends with them, you would bring up the things that you feel this type of way about. So I don't think you're tripping. Maybe you're both tripping because maybe it's just time to acknowledge what it really is.
Yeah. Or, keep my name out your mouth. There's other things to talk about. If you really don't, if you don't care about it, then it shouldn't be an issue. But if you don't like them talking about or saying those things about you, then
I don't know how
address
ADHD would change.
what are we talking about here? What does that matter?
Because we've been friends this whole time.
So if you know me 15 years and you think I'm ADHD, what does that today have to change?
If in the
with?
last 5 years you
So
realize
what?
I might be ADHD.
So what? Like, how was that the topic for discussion?
And if you are concerned about that, just in case you are,
Yeah,
speak with a mental health professional.
absolutely.
Speak with a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a neurologist.
Yeah, I kind
or a
of felt like
therapist.
that was part of the question. They didn't come out and say it. They had a feeling about the friend talking to them about talking about the topic, but there might be also some personal questions there about whether they are or aren't. And I think that part, which was not asked in the question, if you have any hesitation or concerns, go talk to someone about it. There's only one way to know.
I don't diagnose my friends, so I don't even know what the point of them talking like that was.
Yeah, like I said, I don't understand how that's a subject for conversation.
Doesn't seem too friendly.
Not at all.
Cut them off.
And it sounds like, and it's using like in a negative way. It sounds like, and I totally am against that.
Totally.
Totally.
And we got another one.
All right.
It's tough because we got a few to choose from, but I guess we won't read them all today.
Okay.
Let's get judgy.
Judgy. Oh, you did say this one's about judgment.
I need help, please. I've been dating my boyfriend for a year now. Since we started dating, he stays in my place. I'm just hustling to get life going. He sometimes helps with the food, but I pay most of the housing stuff. Once we have any issues, he stops coming to my house and stays with his parents. He is 42 years old. He has no job, no house, nothing. Doesn't give me money for my personal stuff. When we fight, I have to beg him always. He can stay without talking to me for days. Please, I need advice.
Oh, wow. So that doesn't sound like a boyfriend to me. It sounds like a convenient companion.
That doesn't sound convenient. I don't hear the convenience.
When it's convenient, I mean,
When it's convenient for whom?
for him. That's what I'm saying. I don't really know that's a relation, like that dynamic of that relationship. I don't know if that's necessarily boyfriend girlfriend. I would say look at what he brings to you, and if that's sufficient in what you need in your life, then I'm not one to say yay or nay. For me, that could never happen.
With your boyfriend?
Could never happen.
Who are you dating?
Well, I'm married now. I'm just saying, if I were not married, if I were not with you, and there was a boyfriend coming over to my house in my air conditioner, eating my food and not contributing, And then when there's something discussed about it, you got to go home to your parents at 42. That doesn't work for me.
That wouldn't work for me at 22.
That's what I'm just saying. That doesn't work for me. But to each his own. But that would not happen with me. Couldn't happen with me.
My take on it is I have learned it's not so much about what I say. It's about providing a space for people to say the things that they need to say. So when you write that email like that, I mean, you have thoughts about this. Mm-hmm. Let's see. He sometimes helps with the food, but I pay most of the housing stuff. Once we have any issues, he stops coming to my house and stays with his parents. He has no job, no house, nothing. He doesn't give me money for personal stuff. When we fight, I have to beg him always. He can stay without talking to me for days. What are your thoughts on that? When you write that, when you think about that, when you live this, what are your thoughts on that? Because I am confident there is no one on earth who believes in healthy relationships who could read that and be like, oh yeah, you should work it out with him.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing from that telling of the relationship. There's nothing. I would ask you, are you afraid of being alone? Because it sounds like you're alone, and you just keep him around so that you can say you have somebody.
Someone. Yeah.
But truly, you have no one.
Yeah.
Because what's the future with him look like?
And I think, and this is from talking from a very privileged perspective, because I have you and I've had you, and I've never felt like lonely, even, if we were on the offs. I've never felt lonely, right? So I say this from my perspective. Sometimes I think by trying to fill that void with someone who's really not giving you all you need, you could be missing out on an opportunity to get someone that is actually going to check all the boxes.
Blocking your blessings.
Correct. So I know it's hard. I'm not gonna say that it's not, but if you're not getting what you need out of a relationship, I mean, I don't think you'll ever, I think you have to have balance, right? But it seems like, or at least what she's describing to us, because in context, we don't know everything else, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot more cons than there are pros. Go seek what you feel that you need. I feel like it's sometimes just wasting time.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's what I mean about holding the space. I'm glad you expressed it, but read the email again and tell me the part that you wish for in your life. When you think of the ideal relationship for you, you say, I hope I can find someone who has nothing for themselves, doesn't help me, doesn't support me, will go days without talking to me. What about that sounds like a relationship you want to have? Yeah. So it's not so much the advice. I mean, anyone would give you the same advice. What is the action you are ready to take?
Yeah. I always look at things too. Even when I have a problem, or even if there's something super negative, there has to be something good, right? If there's zero good, then it's rare that I meet something that's zero good, right? There's something there. But when she wrote the email, there's she didn't acknowledge anything positive. Not to say there isn't, but that wasn't in context when she's writing in, right? Because we get things from people who are oh, this thing sucks about this person or this and this, but I love the way that they are kind to me, or something to that effect. You know what I mean? There was nothing positive given in that thing. Nothing there that is a positive.
I either hear from people who say everything is terrible, there's nothing good, or everything's terrible, but it's not that bad. People who are happily stable rarely come talk to me.
Right. Because you could be stable and have a problem. Yeah. Right? Because that's just part of life. And so you're asking for help for this problem, but the relationship is good.
I do encourage happy, stable couples.
Yes.
To still go to therapy.
Yeah.
Just because you can strengthen what you have.
Absolutely.
Doesn't mean you'll be in therapy for a million years or anything, but maybe there's just a moment in time where, how do we further develop this part of our relationship?
Or we have we have something that we could work, an opportunity to get better.
I think it speaks maybe to the epidemic of loneliness that happens in our current day and age. I think people have always been lonely, but especially now where, there's someone right now. We got a comment not too long ago, and the person said, I'm just sitting in my room eating dinner, talking to y'all.
Aw.
Yeah, and it's cool. Keep watching, following on
Yeah.
YouTube and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But that person.
But that is reality. That
Yeah.
is reality now. And I think this is where I tell you, you're like, you couldn't, remember you said in a previous episode that you couldn't understand why people want to listen to us. And I was like, well, I do, because I feel like it's a community, right? Like I meet people that interact with daily, like, hey, I listen to the podcast. And it's like, okay, well, they're part of this community that where we're talking about stuff. We have things that we can give our judgments on. We can agree or disagree kind of thing. And I think like that's one of the pluses of social media to me, can be, right? Is if you are alone, you kind of can seek out to build your own community so you can work on not feeling lonely. I think there's a difference between being alone and being lonely kind of thing. So.
Twice now I've had people in my real life who are like, man, I didn't realize we hadn't talked so long. I hear from you every day. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard from one of them in like 2 months. And he's like, dude, I didn't even realize, because he hears me every single day.
Right.
At Only Black Kids on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So it's interesting.
Yes.
It's really interesting.
So it's like, to me, like I said, that's one of the pluses of social media that's allowed that.
It's a plus, and it's a gift and a curse.
Of course.
Because you'll feel like you're connected, this parasocial relationship, but then you're not actually connected.
Yeah, but I think that is the connection. That's just another layer of connections that wasn't available before. So it's not.
But is it enough?
I don't know. It depends on the person. I don't know. So
imagine you don't get to spend any time with me. You just get to watch me. And I might acknowledge you, but it takes a month. If you email us at this point, you're not going to see the answer for 3 to 4 weeks. Because those emails are coming in. So is that a relationship?
No, it's not a relationship. It's well, I mean, all things to me are a relationship. But it's like, it's nothing different from than listening to like your radio talk show thing. It's just like another avenue. It's not supposed to be.
I think in this medium, though, it feels closer.
Well, yeah, because if you're listening to us on YouTube, or you're listening to us on Spotify or any of those,
or Apple Podcast,
right? You're putting us on because you want to listen, right? So I think that's different. That's because you're actually taking a step to be into this, to get this. So I think that's a different kind of interaction, right? I just think that I don't think it replaces. I think it's just it's an amended avenue.
I fear that for too many people, and not just this podcast, just the screens in general, are replacing relationships.
Yes, I think it's just supposed to be amended.
People are more in their world. You've got your AirPods on. You're in your bubble.
Yes.
Nothing, and there's less connection.
That I agree. I think that's because it's kind of like it's not a back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, like I wish I could say I know Trevor Noah. I don't. But he talks to me in the car. It's like, oh, and Trevor was in the car. It's like he wasn't really physically in the car, but he was talking to me. But I didn't get to talk to him, right? So I think it's just another avenue, like an amendment, but it's not a replacement. I still enjoy spending time with people, going back and forth, to have to give and to get. Like, I don't want to just get all the time, right? So I like to give and get.
Yeah.
So no, it's not a replacement. I think it's an amendment. But I think I still, not from a lot of people, but I do enjoy having that interaction. But some people don't, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Some people don't. So,
but I think a lot of people do.
I think a lot of people are seeking for that, and
to bring it back to this last letter, I think if she had healthier community around her,
correct.
How do you even have time for this? Parasitic relationship?
Correct.
Because you said community can be that give and the get.
Yes.
This guy might as well be on a screen for you, because
correct.
What do you get? Like, what do you get?
Or at least that wasn't expressed to us what you get.
She sounds like a loyal member of his Patreon.
Basically.
Like, what do you...
Yeah.
Sounds like he lives at his parents' and he crashes at your place until he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
If you like it.
That's good for you.
But it
But it doesn't seem like you like it.
sounds like you don't like it.
Yeah.
Let's get into some judgy internet stories.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for calling out my husband for not being a good Christian? I, 27-year-old female, have been married to my husband, 34-year-old male, for 5 years. My husband is a devout follower of his religion and has been since he was raised in it. I respect his beliefs, even though I don't share them and have no intention of converting. I was raised in the Christian faith. However, I left when I was an adult due to sexual abuse in my church, which nobody believed occurred because the one who did it was the pastor.
Oh, wow.
Recently, my husband has been pressuring me to convert to his religion. He says that it would bring us closer together and create a more harmonious household. I understand where he's coming from, but I firmly believe that faith is a personal journey and I shouldn't be forced into something I don't believe in. To add to the issue, my husband, despite his religious teachings, doesn't always practice what he preaches. He expects me to adhere to traditional gender roles, yet he often neglects his own responsibilities at home. He's quick to judge others for their actions, even though his faith teaches non-judgment and kindness. He makes comments about gay people that I have discussed with him as a major issue. The hypocrisy has been bothering me for a while. Last night, during another discussion about my potential conversion, I finally snapped. I told him that if he wants me to consider converting, he needs to set a better example by actually living according to his religion's values. I pointed out that he should start by fulfilling his own responsibilities, that he should make more money than me and actually lead in the decision making.
Whoa.
I'm a nurse and he's currently unemployed after he was let go from his job in an office. That he should be less judgmental of others because according to his faith, only God can judge them. I also said he should show more of the virtues Jesus asked of Christians, that he should clothe the naked, feed the hungry, visit the prisoner, aid the orphan and the widow, etc. I also made it clear that while I respect his beliefs, I have no intention of converting unless I genuinely believe in it, which I currently don't because of the hypocritical behavior of his faith. My husband was furious. He accused me of being disrespectful and undermining his faith.
Ooh.
He said that I was attacking him personally and that I don't understand the pressure he's under to have a unified religious household. He left for church this morning at 7 for Bible study, and I have already gotten a phone call from the pastor saying I'm an ungodly woman who tricked a good man into marrying him, and I should repent. I also have gotten a tirade of texts and emails from members of his church saying I was disrespectful and being a bad wife, and I'm starting to wonder if I was too harsh, that maybe I shouldn't have said anything at all. Am I the asshole?
Oh, wow. Woo-wee. That was a loaded one, my love.
Judgy.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know where you start with that. Sounds like, I don't know. This is like these questions should have been had before they got married.
I think people change. I think he's probably become more
into the faith.
No, I mean, he doesn't sound like he's too much into the faith at all. I think he's into the social aspects of it.
Yeah, maybe.
So for example, and I hope I don't go too far on a tangent with this one. Recently, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, in 1 week, I had several discussions about faith. One with our pastor, the pastor that married us, and another with some friends of mine. And, in talking with my pastor, and it's interesting I say my pastor because I go to church, when I go to church. I'll give you an example. The pastor asked me to go to a men's group sometime last year, and I went. Coincidentally, he had to go out of town that weekend, so he wasn't there when I went. And I've just spoken to him about it now. And I told him one of the things I noticed in the men's group, it started way later than it said it was going to start. And then it went so long. Mm-hmm. It was on a Friday.
Yeah.
They said they were going to start at 7:30. It started at about 9:30. And it ended at about 12:30. I noted to the pastor, it seems to me some of these guys are having problems with their wives because they're out till damn 1 a.m. with a bunch of dudes at church.
Yeah.
On a Friday. Like,
I agree.
Guys, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I thought that was odd.
You.
I thought that was quite strange.
only one of the odd things I noticed. So I mentioned to him that if we're going to be men of intention, men of integrity, if we say 7:30, I'm not tripping if it's a little late. There's a difference between 7:30 and 9:30.
Yeah, that's
the reason why I point this out is, and this isn't a slight to the church or to the men's group. Things happen. But in regards to the church in this story, what part of a pastor is going to call a wife to say you tricked a good man? And what part of a congregation is texting and emailing, basically harassing?
That is harassment.
That's not a congregation. That's a gang.
Yes. Cult.
What are we talking about?
Yes.
I'm not going to say cult only because of the religious aspect. But like nowhere in the good book does it say thou shalt text the wife of someone and tell her she's a hater. Nowhere does it say that.
No.
How do we start the show? Judge not, lest ye be judged.
Well.
And the problem in many organizations, including churches, is the ego that is looked at as tradition and the problem in questioning it. There's nothing wrong with what you said. There might have been with your delivery, but there's nothing wrong with what you said. Why your husband has all the energy for everyone else, but not for his own household?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
that part.
There are greater issues there. And I think he might hide these issues behind his faith.
And then also, like, I get, I mean, I think there's always, like, people always, like, are quoting scriptures from the Bible, and there's, like, the Bible is such a large resource with a lot of interpretations that you really can almost find any scripture to support your side of the story. You really can, right? And, I mean, it could be taken out of context, but you really can make a scriptures support what you're saying. So I can get where, you know, she was quoting certain things where he could be doing, but at the same time, I don't understand how the church could see nothing as to offer for him to help mitigate the issue, like the situation. Like that to me proves that like it's kind of one-sided, and that's where I have like a line, like that's where it gets a little
if this story is true,
right?
No healthy relationship.
Correct.
I gotta, because there are tons of people who would love terrible things. No person vested in healthy relationships would contact the wife versus praying for the wife.
Correct.
And praying with the man.
Correct.
For him to have the guidance on what he needs to do in his household.
Correct.
What is the prayer group looking like for this man to be a contributing member to his household?
And she kept saying like it was a religion, but she didn't specify what religion
she said Christian.
She was, but she didn't say what the husband was that he wanted her to convert to.
She said Christian.
But I thought she was Christian.
Yeah, that's why it was weird to me too. Let's check. Oops, double check.
So what I'm saying is like to me the pastor should be saying that, be asking her to come in to help work on this together, not to deem them as less than. Like that's not, to me, that's not what the religion's about. You know, it's about how do we fix this? How do we bring this in? Or how do I bring in what is the good part of this religion to make this better or stronger kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not to cast stones.
It seems like a lot of judgment on her.
Yes.
And that's supposed to pressure her into changing?
Correct.
Versus.
And not hearing her side.
Yeah.
Right? Which I don't know. I mean, that's why I said I don't know what religion it was, because maybe in some religions she doesn't have a side.
Well, we know it's of a Christian faith, but there's so many denominations.
Right.
He has a pastor and they read the Bible, so it's not.
Right.
It's in the Christian, what is in the Christian multiverse.
Yeah. But yeah.
I think what the husband needs to do is show by example on why his faith is the one to follow. Mm-hmm. Lead his household by that faith and set that example and that foundation within the faith.
Yeah.
Versus saying, well, you need to do what I say. You need to do. Why aren't you? If you were with me, things would be better. No. Fam.
But I think there's some other underlying issues that are not being discussed and they're just being all like captured into like the religion discussion, he didn't got no job. So like there's some financial constraints there as well. Right. So there's like other things there that are, I think, bigger than just the religious part. It's just getting like tossed aside to the religion.
She said that he wants her to have traditional gender roles. I think everyone loves talking about traditional gender roles, and there's nothing wrong with that if you adhere to traditional gender roles.
Correct.
So with these interest rates in this economy, most of us have to live in 2-income households. Right. Not everyone. Some of y'all are making it work. Shout out to you.
Yes.
But a lot of us regular folk need 2 incomes to survive because milk is like, what, $38 now? It costs $50 per egg now. Yeah. You want a box of Lucky Charms now? You got to save up for a couple of months. So in these days, most of us need a dual income. So if you want tradition, that she's supposed to be at home cooking, cleaning, and cooking. And you're supposed to
be. That's where I'm lost. Where
you remember the other story where she said, "You're far too broke to be so sexist."
Yes, I love that.
Bars. So
that's what it sounds like. That's almost the same thing because if you want tradition, you would not be without a job. So what you doing? But
in our next story, am I the asshole for telling my sister I will only help her if she gets sterilized?
Ooh.
My little sister had her first kid at 15 and her second at 17. They are my kids now. I was their guardian and eventually I adopted them. I didn't want kids, but now I have 3. One biological that was an oops, that was the greatest mistake I've ever made. People always got to say that, don't they?
Always.
I love her more than anyone in the world, except maybe her 2 brothers and my wife. I just want to establish that I do not care for how many neck-tattooed deadbeat losers my sister sleeps with. I am just doing cleaning up after her. She is 25 now and pregnant again. Her, quote, boyfriend, 47, turned out to be married and bailed when she told him.
Wow.
My parents have pretty much written her off, so she won't be getting anything from them. She came by to cry about her life. I told her that I would help her out if she terminated and got her tubes tied. She said I was a monster for suggesting abortion, or that she not have a chance at a family. I agreed that I am a monster. On her way out the door, that's...
Huh?
You're a monster. You're right.
Yeah. I like that.
I agreed that I am a monster. On her way out the door, she asked for some gas money. I told her she knew what she had to do to get any help from me. She said that she thought she was like...
She's... What?
Think about it. Hey, can I get $20 for gas money? Tie your tubes. That's kind of wild. That's kind of wild. I told her she knew what she had to do to get any help from me. She said that she thought that was for like real help, not $20 for gas. I said if that isn't real help, then she doesn't need it. And I closed the door on her.
Ooh.
She has been trying to get me to change my mind for a week, but I'm done. I love that stupid woman, but I will not be a part to her fucking up another child.
Wow.
So are they the asshole for telling their sister, I'll only help you if you get sterilized?
Wow.
We had an Ask the Black Kids before that said, am I the asshole for being the asshole? And I think you're the asshole. Mm-hmm. I don't think that makes you wrong.
Yeah.
So the conditions on my help are the conditions on my help.
Correct.
They might be messed up, but those are the conditions on my help.
Yeah.
I would say your conditions are a bit extreme. But then as you are raising her 2 children,
correct.
Are they too extreme?
I don't think they're extreme at all. Like, she has to learn accountability. And I'm not saying I'm for him saying to get sterilized, but...
Let me ask you something. You said she has to learn accountability.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't? Well, she does if she wants his help.
Why does she have to learn accountability?
She does if she wants his help.
Show me this is what people do. They protect others from the natural consequences of their actions. You see parents do this with children. You see parents do this with adult children. Well, you see partners do this with each other. What happens if she's not accountable? What happens if she has a kid at 15?
She can keep having babies. That's all.
Her brother will raise the kid. What happens if she has another kid at 17? Well, her brother will raise the kid.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, he's putting his foot down now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does she have to have an abortion and get her tubes tied?
No, she don't have to, but he's not paying for it.
Is he the asshole?
I don't think so. I think at some point.
I think he is the asshole, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think he's the asshole at all. He's setting his own boundaries for his own personal saving himself, which he's already done that in order to raise these two. I don't think so.
People often, you can't use boundaries to dictate someone else's behavior.
He's not. He's saying, you want help from me, then these are my boundaries. These are my rules.
I can't tell you your boundary for me to like be honest with you is that you can't wear green. That's not a boundary. That's trying to control your behavior.
Well,
his boundary has to be, I am unable to help you as you continue to do this. It's about what he needs to do. His boundary can't be, you have to do this. That's a rule. There's a difference between a boundary and a rule.
I think that's
fair. And people
fair.
are weaponizing boundaries to try to control other people. So I think we agree on what he's doing, but I don't want to call it a boundary because my boundary can't tell you what to do. My boundary is you have to shave your head if you want me to be faithful to you. That's just a boundary for me.
No, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, and I think my head's too big for that.
For sure.
I think those, but what she's asking for is like a. I don't want to put it into such legal things since they're like a contract, though. Those are the rules for his contract. I don't think that's an asshole at all.
I think it's definitely an asshole.
I don't find it.
But I think there's nothing wrong with that. He said he is a monster.
If
you're gonna call yourself a monster, asshole, a monster. Yeah.
Well, then I guess I would play the same role as a monster and asshole.
I think you have to be okay with being the bad guy in someone's story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want people to like me. I want to do right by people. I cannot do right by everyone.
Do the best you can.
And there's someone who thinks Robert is a villain.
Right. And I think that the brother, the poster there is saying, hey, enough is enough. You clearly haven't learned your lesson. You think you're going to keep coming to me? He loves her. He said, I love this stupid person, but he can't do it. I think that there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's crazy.
Crazy.
Yes. Am I the asshole for reporting my wife for bringing me snacks in the hospital? I am 32 and male. About 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with binge eating disorder. To put it simply, I eat compulsively even though not hungry. My BMI is 43, putting me in the class 3 obesity range. Since my diagnosis, I have not improved whatsoever. Therapy and support groups have a positive effect on my mentality, but even 2 hours after, I'll be in line at drive-thru. It has affected my health, my mental health, my finances, and of course, my wife. My wife is 37. She is average size and eventually agreed that I may need actual medical intervention. After a lot of deliberation, we packed up and temporarily moved states so I could participate in an inpatient program as part of research study.
Wow.
Apparently, intervention programs for BED can be pretty hit or miss. And so this one is a new take on them, being 6 months instead of the typical 30 to 90 days. I am currently at the end of my first month, and everything is going very well. I've made a lot of friends on the program as well. At the end of the 1 month mark, visitation opened up and my wife could come visit me. Obviously, she jumped at the chance and came to visit me 2 days ago. We headed over to my room where she took her backpack off and pulled out jalapeno chips and colas, two of my most common binge items. At first, I freaked out, but she explained that I deserved a break and went into detail about how much trouble she went into to smuggle them in. I immediately shouted for a nurse who forcibly removed the products from her hands and then escorted her out of the hospital with a full team. My wife has now been completely banned from the premises, and she's furious at me. Wow. The nurses and doctors have expressed nothing but gratitude and told me that if I had indulged, I would have instantly been removed from the program. One thing that my wife said that made me think she had a point was instead of telling her to put the snacks away and take them home, I went for the nuclear option of calling other people. I know that her bringing snacks was objectively wrong, but was my reaction over the top? Therapist Robert.
Was his reaction over the top? No, his reaction was triggered. He was triggered, and that's what he did. It's sad because the wife obviously cares.
Yes.
She has moved states
Yes.
to be able to support you while you do a 6-month program. That is a
Yes.
big strain on any
That is huge.
family. So the wife obviously cares.
Obviously.
And the bigger issue is the lack of psychoeducation that is going on. So while you're in this program, she's just at home.
Right.
And she's thinking she's being nice because you get a little treat to reward you.
Yeah.
Because that's what people think is needed. I think any mom is kind of like that. Like, you know, we live in Miami. If you go to a Jamaican house, a Cuban house, a Bahamian house, a Puerto Rican house, a Dominican house, they're gonna feed you. Oh, I'm watching my weight. But you, no, you eat. And if you don't eat, it's offensive.
Yes.
That's just a cultural thing.
Yes.
Your eating habits be damned. Like, oh no, I'm vegan.
You're what? Keke?
No gluten, please. Yes, no gluten. No gluten. Like, you know, like that. I mean, it's offensive.
Right.
It would be offensive to most of the cultures in the city we live in. So I get the wanting to treat you. Once after I had been jogging and eating right consistently for like, I think a month, maybe even a week, I had someone bake me a cake with like chocolate strawberries and candy on it. Shit that I wouldn't eat anyway.
Yeah.
To congratulate me for eating better. That's insane. So I think the wife just needs psychoeducation. Psychoeducation just means education. I don't know why in therapy talk they call it psych. I guess because it's psychology education. It's making shit sound bigger. Education. And she needs some treatment on how to better support you.
Yeah.
You did go nuclear. I don't blame you. You were triggered, but yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, shouts out to the couple, like recognizing that this was an issue and you know, getting in the facility and that to me is a big testament on wanting to like working as a couple kind of thing, right? But I question this program of not having the support resources also part of this, right? Like I would want that the wife would be included in some sort of like the discussions or therapy. Like how do they, because like you're focusing on the person with the disorder. Okay, understood, right? But what about that whole unit? Because he's a part of this unit with his wife. So whatever he's going, like in order to reinforce or support that, like where does she get, like what does she get to understand like how he's eating now? Or like what are the do's and the don'ts? Or like
that's the education piece that's missing.
Right. Like to me, that's like the program. It sounds like great. It's more than 30 to 90 days, which.
When you're dealing with Alcoholics Anonymous, there's another group called Al-Anon. It is for the spouses of the alcoholics. Right. Because they recognize the interwebbed relationship.
Correct.
Of the abuse.
It seems like that's missing. So, it's a very unfortunate thing. So I was like, this is like relationship, but it was kind of something else. That's why I thought it was a good read.
And at this time, I'd like to encourage anyone, if you are dealing with any issues like this, to please seek the help you need. Yes. We are a podcast where we laugh at shit. We want you to get that mental health treatment you need. So, any resources you want to recommend them to?
I don't know of the resources, honey.
I'm going to say it's 211 in your area. If you're looking for a therapist specifically, it's psychologytoday.com. It's probably the best resource where you can find. You can also call your insurance if you have one and ask for anyone that is paneled in your area and accepting clients.
And I think you forgot one more disclaimer, that you're a therapist, but you're not.
That's what I said. This is a podcast.
Yeah, no, you had to say that specific.
You know, I haven't been saying I'm a therapist too much, so maybe they'll forget.
No, that's not gonna forget. We have loyal classmates.
Am I the asshole for offering to sell my seat to Honeymooners? I was flying from Melbourne to Dubai. I paid for a premium economy seat because it is a 14-hour flight and I want to be comfortable. The person in the next seat had been upgraded and they asked if I could switch seat with their wife as they had just gotten married and were on their honeymoon. I congratulated him on his nuptials and asked where his wife was sitting. He pointed towards the back of the plane in economy. I declined to switch seats. He asked if there was any way to convince me. I offered to switch if he paid the difference between the seats. It is a godly amount. I had been lucky to get mine at a decent price. It would only have cost him 1,000 Australian. He said that they were on a budget for their honeymoon. I congratulated once again and put in my earbuds.
Yep.
He muttered that I was an asshole. I said he was a prick for taking the upgrade instead of either sitting with his wife or giving it to her. I told my wife about the incident, and she thinks I should have done the nice thing.
Oh, no.
For the record, she hates flying in economy, so I know she would not have switched. I'm seeing more and more and more of these stories where people are like, well, my kid really likes window seats, so you don't mind. It's like, yeah, I like window seats too.
That's why I picked it.
And these days that you have to pay,
No.
why?
Yeah.
Why would this guy?
Why would he?
Why would he pay? How much more? It wasn't $2 more. It wasn't $20 more. We're talking a couple $100 more to get the seat he got. And then just be like, you know.
It's your honeymoon, your poor planning, and your inept ability to afford it.
But you know what? They got upgraded.
No, he got upgraded.
No. The guy got up. The newlywed got upgraded. Why did you leave your wife?
Guess to tell you what kind of person that is.
Why did you leave your wife?
No, I don't. I wouldn't feel any kind of way. I
would have said, can we both get upgraded? Or how much to pay for her upgrade also?
Right.
Or nah, I'll have to take that another time. I just got married. I want to be with my wife.
14 hours?
14 hours.
Robert, I could not ever see you ever leaving me like that for that long.
For 14 hours?
For 14 hours on a plane?
No.
That would not happen. Like, I don't even know that was an option.
That's weird.
That's strange to me.
That's weird behavior.
Yes. No way.
There's gonna be a story. Watch. There's gonna be an am I the asshole because I left my wife.
That's crazy. That's bonkers.
My newlywed husband left me for a 14-hour flight.
Like, what is that?
He got the upgrade. I didn't.
Like, I couldn't imagine. And
but the guy put it on the newlywed put it on the poster.
Yes, that
when it was your behavior.
Yes.
Nasty.
See,
work.
I wouldn't even take anything out.
Nasty.
I mean, normally people. I mean, I've had people ask me about switching seats, and if it's like a row from a row kind of thing, maybe. But like I'm very specific about where I want to sit, so that's normally not even a discussion. It's like, wait a minute, are you talking to me? Like, I don't even want you talking to me.
I'm still thinking about this guy just getting up and leaving his wife.
Right.
That is super toxic.
That is. I don't see how you do that. On a 14, like I would be like, what? Like if it were like an hour and a half flight, maybe I'm like, honey, that's you go ahead because you have longer legs.
Yeah, but on an hour and a half flight, I'd be less inclined to take the upgrade.
But
it's an hour and a half.
If we're maybe even with like a 3-hour flight or something, I'm like, honey, it's all right, I'm good. Like, I still got the aisle seat or something. You go ahead and get more space. I probably would tell you to do that. But 14? Oh, no. If we in the can in the back together squished up, you're going to be squished with me. That's not happening. Not 14 hours. Huh?
It's nasty work.
That's crazy.
Some would say it's toxic.
Yes. So what time is it?
It is 1:15.
Oh, it sounds like time for some kind of confession.
I'm just thinking about this.
Are you working on the build?
I think that guy just shared something.
What is that?
I think he shared a toxic confession. In this week's toxic confession, our marriage is suffering a crisis of legitimacy. Nothing is real. No part of our union makes sense. But he's a good provider for our children. I feel sick because I know he's unhappy with me and the lifestyle that we have. For the first 3 years of our relationship, we had an understanding that we could see other people. I did not date others, but he did. I promised that we would keep our relationship open if he would marry me. I ignored the other woman during the engagement. But as we stood in the church on our wedding day, I changed the rules. I wanted him to love me exclusively. I don't believe he ever did. Our children are 5 and 8. When I told him I was pregnant again, he said, "How did that happen?" He's working up the courage to ask me to terminate the pregnancy, and I'm working up the courage to tell him that he's not the father.
Oh.
My coworker is.
Oh.
I love my coworker, but he's Mexican. We're black, and there's no way I can pin my biracial baby on my husband.
God damn.
Should I come clean now or wait until my baby arrives?
Whose goddamn white baby is that?
Jeez Louise. That is one hot mess. You said it was toxic. That was toxic. Oh, these poor children. I feel so bad for these babies. This is my gosh.
Do you ever notice that in these confessions, the first part is almost pointless?
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter that they had an open relationship.
No, not at all.
The issue is you're pregnant by someone and you don't know if you should tell them now or later.
Yeah, you don't think the husband ever loved you. So what you got married for?
Why do people agree to things that they don't want to agree to? Because they don't want to be alone.
That's it. I'm telling you. No, it's not even, I don't even think it's they want to be alone. They don't want to be lonely. That's it. They probably a little bit don't want to be
The
alone.
day of the wedding, hey, by the way, you know that thing we agreed to?
No.
Okay.
Bad humans all around. Bad.
Okay.
Bad humans.
I think some of us got to do better. And in our final toxic confession, you ready to judge? I haven't read this one. I've only read the first sentence.
Okay, let's go.
And the first sentence said, that's going on the show.
You okay?
I hate condoms and I hate children.
Oh.
I communicate this. Why do women think they can change me? Kids are nuisances that hold me back from my goals. I have 2 children, 2 baby mamas.
Oh my
and the woman I'm
gosh.
dating now is pregnant. I don't understand. I've told each of these women that I'm with them for a good time and not a long time.
Oh no.
And they should take birth control before dealing with me. I'm not the marrying kind. I'm not father of the year. I do not want their bastard kids.
Oh my
But they keep trying to trap me. I'm busy loving myself right now. Should I date older, a woman who can't have kids, or be celibate for a while?
Oh,
I'm tired of the unwanted, unnecessary pregnancies all around me.
Oh my goodness.
Because women don't listen.
This is terrible.
Advice?
This is you beyond
Snip.
toxic. Oh
Snip.
my gosh. Cut the whole yes. Oh my gosh. What is going on?
Please
here?
eliminate any chance from this man to
Please
procreate.
do not make any seed from this bad human. My
Who
gosh.
is having a baby
My
from this
goodness.
dick?
Like who? Now you talk about somebody must be extra lonely to be able to be up with that dude. That guy is out of control. Definitely not.
Why don't they control themselves and take birth control?
Oh, my
Why don't
goodness.
you control
Oh,
yourself?
but he don't like condoms. So what? Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
I'm just disgusted. That's disgusting. You could have left that one out.
He said
Because you know
he'd
what?
be celibate.
There's probably people just walking around like that too. And they probably talk to people like that and tell them up front and they still want to sleep with them. Like, that's ridiculous.
For sure.
Keep walking.
For
I wish
sure.
somebody would.
People keep doing that.
Nasty. That's a bad human for real. Zero tolerance. I ain't even want to talk no more about it. Like, oof. Ooh, that got me. Making me hot.
I knew you were going to keep talking about it after you said you don't want to talk about it anymore. I was just waiting.
It's making me hot. That's a bad person.
Oh, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. More judgment from the podcast with 2 married besties laughing through life and judging a whole lot this episode. Nothing was redeeming in this.
No.
The wife and the husband in the facility. That one
Yeah.
has hope.
My heart went out to both of them.
That's a very difficult situation.
That's a very difficult situation. And I see the one, like, to me, that's a healthy relationship working on.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We hope.
Hopefully that didn't, make a downward trend.
Please leave that 5-star review on any platform where you watch this. If you're watching it on YouTube, please leave a comment. Send a share. Share it with someone. I don't really know how you say it. Subscribe. Hit that alert button so you know when all our episodes are coming out. And we do release episodes twice a week now. Wednesdays on podcasts and Fridays for OBK Reacts.
Woohoo.
However, I think I'm going to change the React day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if I like Friday. I kind of want to do Tuesday and Thursday, but I love Wednesday.
Okay.
You know what? If you've listened this far, hopefully you actually like this thing. So what day would you like the podcast?
That's a good one.
And
Let
what
us
day
know.
would you like the React show?
I like feedback.
Oh, and I should say, first Thursday of the month is our movie reaction show. However, the first Thursday of this month was a holiday, and I was like, ain't nobody gonna watch this. Maybe I should have posted anyway, but I didn't. So should we wait till the next first Thursday of the month, or should we just let it go? We're sitting on it for a while now. Let us know in the comments. Email us, asktheblackkids@gmail.com if you want to hear us read your story and give our married, judgy, laughing, induce take on your life. That's asktheblackkids@gmail.com.
What?
Send us out.
That's it. Bye.